Okay, today we are going to start on page 9 in step-by-step stories, and we're going to add on to our phonograms. But first, remember, each day we want to make sure that we review the phonograms that we've already learned. So we're going to do a quick review. Now remember, I'm going to say it, and then you'll take your turn and say it. Okay, so we're going to start with k, s, b, a, g, j, d, a, o, u, a. Now, today we're going to learn some new phonograms, and the phonograms that we're going to learn today are going to use the clock face numbers 2 and 10. So if you want to look at your sheet and look at your 2 or your 10, or you can use your big clock face again, or we're also doing the letters that are on the second line. So we're going to start with these letters here that are all drawn using the 2 and the 10. So again, I'll say the sound and then you repeat it, okay? So this is the letter N, M, Okay, let's start with the letter. When we write the letter, we're going to use, today I'm going to use a larger notebook just to give you an idea of one with lines, and because it's easier to write for me upside down these letters when I have the lines. So we're going to start with the letter, and remember, when we write the letter this time, we're going to imagine our clock face up here on the top of above our midpoint. And we're going to think about putting our pencil where the 2 would be, which is a little bit below the top line, and we don't want to quite touch the top line. So we're going to start where the 2 would be. We're going to go up to the 12, almost touch the top line, around to where the 10 would be. Once we get to the 10, we're going to go straight down to the baseline, touch the baseline, and then we're going to cross the F in between the 2, right there, and we're going to say F. Okay, and our next letter is the letter M. M. Very good. Now when we draw the letter M, we're going to again imagine a clock face, but this time we're going to try and imagine 2 small clock faces right next to each other, okay? And we're going to start on our midpoint, and we're going to go straight down, touch the baseline, come back up about to where the 10 would be on our clock, and that's where we're going to curve over, touch the midpoint, curve back down to the 2, and then straight down to the baseline, back up about to where the 10 would be. Again, we're going to curve off around to the 2 and straight down, and we're going to say M. Okay? And the next letter, the letter N, it makes a little bit of a different sound, and we have to make sure that we get those right. And we're going to do this one almost the exact same way as the last one, only we're only going to make half of it. So again, we're going to put our pencil, we're going to imagine that we have a clock face, a little one up here on top. We're going to put our pencil on our midpoint. We're going to go straight down to the baseline, straight back up about to where the 10 would be, which is where we're going to start to curve over, touch the 12, around to the 1, to the 2, and straight back down, rest on the baseline, and we say N. Our next letter is a little bit less than the other 2. This one, we're only going to go part way. This is the letter R. Okay, so when we do R, we start at the midpoint, straight down, back up to the 10, around to the 2, where we're going to stop. Okay? And our last letter of the day is very good. When we write this letter, again, it's like the F. We're going to start really tall, but we're not quite going to touch the top line. We're going to go straight down to the base line, touch the base line all the way back up to where the 10 would be, around, touch the 12, around to the 2, and then straight down to the base line, and we say okay, now let's look in our book on page 9, and we have some more spelling words. Also, just as an FYI, the or is introduced at this time just because I needed it for the stories. It's also introduced later as its own phonogram, but here it's taught with the O saying the O sound and the so it's or, okay? So we'll start with the word no. My mother said, no, I can't go to the movies. No. No. Okay, now again, you want to make sure your child says the sounds as you touch your fingers. O. And then you can prompt them and let them know this is the this is a, o, u, a, and then have them write it. So this is what they should do, is come to their paper, imagine their clock face, and they'll put their pencil on the 2. Excuse me, it's no. So we're going to start at the midpoint. We're going to go straight down, imagine the little clock face, come back up to where the 10 would be, curve around, touch the 12, touch the 2, go straight down, and then our a, o, u, we're going to start on the 2, go up to the midpoint, all the way around the clock, touch the baseline, come back up to the 2, and we say no. Now, after they write the word, then you will correct it if you need to correct it, and you'll write the word. You'll make your n and your a, o, u, and then you'll ask them if there are any markings on this word. There are markings on this word because the O is not saying its first sound. So above the O, we need to identify what sound it's making. A, O, it's making the second sound. So we're going to make a 2 over that letter. And if you're referring to the rules, then you would make it a small r, or write the word rule, and then write which number rule, which it's number 3 in the back of the book. Or if they're attending a school that uses phonograms, then they're going to write the rule that goes along with the program that they're using. So that's how you'll go on, and remind them that the rule is that at the end of that vowels may make their long vowel sound at the end of the syllable. And you can continue on through the rest of the spelling words if you would like, or again, if your child's not ready to quite do the spelling, you can have them sound out. Now make sure when they're sounding out their words that they're blending them together. They're not saying ah, okay? We want them to say ma. We want them to blend them together so that they can say mad, mad. Okay, we want to make sure that they're not stopping in between. Sometimes you can make a line or have them use their finger and make sure that they don't stop saying sounds until they pick their finger up. But make sure that they're blending these sounds together as they're moving across. And then there's a longer word, if they're ready for a 4-letter word, at the bottom. And so that is the lesson, the next lesson. And the next time we are going to be covering our 3rd line.